So this video is the second one that goes through how to use the conceptual essay planner. We're going to go through how to fill in the paragraph plans for a conceptual essay and then how you can use that plan to write your paragraphs. It would help to make sure you watch the previous video, which is on how to use the conceptual essay planner, before you watch this one. Otherwise, some of the ideas might not make complete sense. Alright, so let's start by reading a good example of a well-structured paragraph. Unrecognized evil has the power to corrupt even the most experienced members of society. The Brothers Grimm demonstrate this with the universal symbol of evil, the big bad wolf himself, who represents the threat of savage elements that lurk on the outskirts of society, reminding us of the dangers an individual faces when outside the protection of civilization. After being thwarted by Red in the forest, the wolf decides to gobble the grandmother first. In doing so, the grandmother is metaphorically devoured by evil, making it easier for the wolf to lie in wait and deceive Little Red Riding Hood. Nevertheless, Red's early experience in the woods alerts her to the presence of evil, even when he is disguised. Consequently, the Brothers Grimm effectively warn their readers of evil's deceptive nature, thereby helping them to avoid its corrupting power. In doing so, they successfully warn children against the real danger of corruption. One thing that makes an effective paragraph is the structure. So that doesn't mean it has to follow a formula or that there are rules for writing paragraphs. It just means that information is organized in a way that helps the reader understand your argument. In this one, it's the keywords that help with that structure. You might remember from the previous video that all the blue words are related to the question keyword, which is evil. All of the red words are related to the thesis keyword, danger, and the green ones are related to the paragraph concept, corruption. This is how we are going to structure our argument in these paragraphs, and I'm going to work backwards from this example to show you how this one was created. So from the paragraph we just looked at, you can probably see how the planner helps you use the paragraph concept to connect the question to your thesis. In this case, the paragraph concept is corruption, and that connects the question keyword, evil, and the thesis keyword, danger. And hopefully you'll remember from the previous video how important it is to have all of the ingredients ready before you start. So you can see we've got the question, our thesis, we've got the information about the text, a text statement, and our three concepts. So you should have all of these keywords filled in. Now we need to support those ideas with evidence from the text. In the tables on the right, you can see that all of the blue, green, red, purple, and orange boxes are filled in with the keywords from the ingredients on the left. So the next thing is obviously then your textual evidence. That's where your TEAO tables become important, because basically you'll just transfer those TEAO tables into this plan. We're going to start with a paragraph that only includes one piece of textual evidence, even though the plan that you were just looking at included two. That way we can see how it works with a nice simple example. So to begin with, we need to create our concept statement by adding a verb to the question keyword, or Q keyword, and paragraph concept, which are evil and corruption. And in this case, I've added fuels. So we get evil, fuels, corruption. Next, we add our textual evidence that supports our statement. In this example, we have symbolism in the quote, the big bad wolf himself. So then you add your analysis and objective. For this one, it represents evil devouring the grandmother. These take up just one space because you can often put both in one sentence. Remember that the analysis is how the technique creates an effect, and the objective is the reason why the composer wanted to create that effect in that part of the text. The evaluation is a little different to the objective because it makes the connection between the example you have just analysed and the composer's purpose for the text as a whole. For example, to promote social change or educate young readers or share their findings from a scientific experiment. At this point, it's important to note that you need to be concise in your planning. The examples I give are less than 10 words. Any more than that, and you need to ask yourself if you really know what you want to say. Usually, if you can't be succinct, it's because you are not clear on what you want to communicate. The next line is really important in creating a strong argument, and it's the one that most students forget. That is, linking to your thesis. We do this using the same process as the concept statement, except we use the thesis keyword instead of the question keyword. That means paragraph concept and thesis keyword connected by a verb. When you do this, it should help you put into words why your evidence supports your thesis, which then shows the reader how your thesis addresses the question, without even saying so explicitly. So once we've got all of these ingredients, we can start putting our paragraph together. Once you remove the plan, you'll see how easy it is to put all of the pieces together, just by adding a few words to create full sentences. So you can see we've got evil fuels corruption. The symbol of the big bad wolf himself represents evil devouring the grandmother. This demonstrates that evil corrupts the weak. Consequently, corruption creates danger. In this example, I've expanded the basic information with a few connecting words and phrases. So at this point, you can start to see your paragraph take shape, and from there it's a matter of elaborating on your ideas by providing more specific information. So evil fuels corruption. The Brothers Grimm demonstrate this in Little Red Riding Hood through the universal symbol of evil, the big bad wolf himself, who devours the grandmother. This represents evil corrupting the weak. Consequently, the Brothers Grimm effectively warn young readers of the real danger created when evil has an opportunity to corrupt individuals. And even though it's pretty basic, you can see our argument is the thread that runs between the Q keyword or question keyword, paragraph concept, and the thesis keyword. Next, we'll look at how to add additional evidence and how that makes a more sophisticated argument. But at this point, it might be a good idea to stop and have a go at doing a few paragraphs using only one piece of evidence before watching the rest of this video. Remember, you can always come back and re-watch it as many times as you like. Now that we've got the basics down in terms of putting together a paragraph with one piece of evidence, let's see how this works with additional evidence. So you'll notice that it's basically the same process, and I've already put in the information from the paragraph we just did. So we've got our question keyword, our concept, our technique, example, analysis and objective, and our evaluation. Now, it's basically the same process. You just add another technique, which is metaphor, an example. I'll gobble the grandmother first, then lie in wait for the grandchild. An analysis and an objective, which represents evil devouring the grandmother, which is basically all another line of a TEAO table, with an evaluation of that demonstrates evil's corrupting power. Once again, we remove the plan and connect all of the elements together in full sentences. From there, we can develop our paragraph. So we've got evil causes corruption. The symbolism of the big bad wolf himself represents evil that demonstrates the increased threat of savagery. The wolf decides to gobble the grandmother first and lie in wait for the grandchild, which metaphorically represents evil devouring the grandmother. This demonstrates evil's corrupting power. Consequently, corruption creates danger. In developing this paragraph, I've added an adjective, unrecognized, to the question keyword, which was evil, and then some more information to the sentence as a whole. So I've got unrecognized evil has the power to corrupt even the most experienced members of society. It means I've moved away from my original concept statement, but that's okay because the concept statement is just the starting point. So next, I've also expanded on my second sentence by including the composer and reworded the sentence so that I can vary the way I start my sentences. In the same way, I'll go through the entire paragraph, adding information that will help make my example more specific and make a stronger connection between the question and thesis. Again, this is just a plan, so it's to ensure you have everything you need, and it also helps to put in a logical structure. And so here's the finished product. It's still not perfect and could be further developed, but hopefully you can see now how to use the conceptual paragraph planner to ensure you have all the ingredients for your essay and also give you the structure you need for a solid argument. So let's just read through it again. Unrecognized evil has the power to corrupt even the most experienced members of society. The Brothers Grimm demonstrate this with the universal symbol of evil, the big bad wolf himself, who represents the threat of savage elements that lurk on the outskirts of society, reminding us of the dangers an individual faces when outside the protection of civilization. After being thwarted by Red in the forest, the wolf decides to gobble the grandmother first. In doing so, the grandmother is metaphorically devoured by evil, making it easier for the wolf to lie in wait and deceive Little Red Riding Hood. Nevertheless, Red's early experience in the woods alerts her to the presence of evil, even when he is disguised. Consequently, the Brothers Grimm effectively warn the readers of evil's deceptive nature, thereby helping them to avoid its corrupting power. In doing so, they successfully warn children against the real danger of corruption. So you can see from the color coding that all that information has come from the plan. And we'll just skip to the plan one more time so you can double check that. And from here, it's a matter of practice. You can also use this plan for a timed response where you don't know the question. You just leave the question keyword or Q keyword blank, learn the core information, and then it's just a matter of coming up with a new concept statement when you have the question keyword. The rest should then fall into place if you've practiced putting your plan into use with sample questions. Good luck and happy writing!